Hello everyone, welcome to Basically Neda. I am Neda and this is my July wrap-up. In the month of July, I was reading 4 books, but I finished 3 of those books. Out of the 3 that I did finish, 2 of them were 4 stars and 1 was 3 stars. The first book that I finished was The Way of Kings by Sanderson. And this one took a long time for me to finish. I had first started reading it in January when I got the ebook from the Libby app. And because I had a bunch of other books that had come in, I had to put this one to the side, and it ended up going away. So then I decided to get the actual physical book, and that was also a challenge because the physical book would I tend to read my physical books in my bed during right before I sleep. So it is a big, huge chunker. It is 1,252 pages, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think that's how many pages it is, and it's huge. So it would just my hands would get tired, and it would just fall on top of my face. So that didn't really go well. So in June, I ended up getting the audiobook for that one from the Libby app, just to see if I can do a hybrid reading for it. And it was working. I managed to read about 30% of it in June, but I had other books that I was finishing up. So I put that one to the side until I would read it for the rest of June, and then I continued reading it in July. So the world building is very detailed, and the magic system is very detailed. The part that got me is that if I hadn't read any of the books that Brandon Sanderson had written before going into this book, I would not have any good time in this, because it's just a lot of character building and just the world building, and it's focusing on more of that, whereas we are not getting a lot of plot in this. The plot is very slow. So if I hadn't read any of his other works, and I wouldn't know anything about his way of writing and all those other elements that comes with his books, I probably would have not continued with this book. I would think that all those questions that I have will probably come later in his later books, because they weren't fully answered in the way of Kings. I just found that there's things that are being set up, and we're being told about these different characters, but we are not getting as many answers as would be said at the end of said book from another author or something like that. So I gave this one 4 stars just because it was enjoyable, but I just found that it was very long, and yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of questions at the end. So we would have to wait for the next one to read to maybe see what's happening there. And I have no problem with that. I would no problem reading the next book, but it's just going to be a very, very long time to get to all these books. So yeah, that was a 4 star for me. So the second book that I was reading also was kind of a big book. It's the Jade City. Oh, so it's Jade City by Fonda. I also picked that one up a little earlier. I picked it up in the end of May, early June, I believe, by the Libby app. And then the ebook went away. So I was also reading other books on top of this book. So I hadn't really done much with it. And I decided to just go get the book, the physical book, because I enjoyed reading it. And by the end of June, I had read about 30% of it. So I continued reading in July, and by mid-July, I had finished it. And this was also a 4-star rating for me. It's about fictional Asian, two fictional Asian families living in a fictional Asian country who are fighting about Jade. Jade has magical element to a certain people of the society. Not all people have that ability to feel that magical element from Jade, but most of these two families have that element in them. It is Asian mafia meets soap opera. Very dramatic storylines and very well written characters, and it's just fun to read. The parts that was just hard for me was just the soap opera parts that comes to it, which is just like when they are sitting all in the same room, but they're just all in thought and like very serious and quiet because something big is about to happen, and then none of them want to talk, yet they're all serious, and you're just like, okay, can we get on with this part and get to the fighting or whatever that's coming? And then the other part that I didn't like was like we are set up to see a certain scene, but it just that doesn't happen, and then later on another chapter that happens. So you're just going through an emotional roller coaster trying to get to what the author is trying to get to, whereas you're just like, oh, this is not going to happen. Oh, well, oh, it is going to happen. So it's just, it would have been just easier just if the whole story just went as it was supposed to happen, and we didn't have all these extra elements that was just pauses, and it was just an emotional roller coaster. That's why I give it a 4. It was good. I just was like, this is just too much. Sometimes I had to put it down and read something else because it was just getting to me. So yeah, it was fun. And then I moved on to the next book, the third book, which is Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. I had read Scythe in April, and I just wanted to pick up the next book and read the rest of the series. So yeah, this one I gave 3 stars to. I really liked the first book, and it was fun to read it, but this one was just a little less as fun to read. This is about when society has become to a point where humanity can heal itself and get rid of all the disease and everything. They can live longer in the future. And to control the population, they have these group of people called scythe who will randomly glean people to control the society. So this series of books is about two teenagers who are becoming apprentice to one of these scythes. And the second book, which is Thunderhead, is the continuation of the first book, and we get to learn what happened to them after the first book, and it sets up for the conclusion. I enjoyed it, but it was just some of the point of views. I was just asking myself, where is he going with this, and what will come up, like for the end of it. What's the point of this scene? So I really didn't get the answers to these things. Maybe it will be in the last book, but I guess we'll have to see. So yeah, that was why I didn't enjoy this one as much as the other one. And this one was a 3-star for me. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. And the last one that I had started but I didn't finish, the 4th one, was Judas Blossom by Stephen Aryan. I saw the review of this by Alan at the Library of Allenxandria. I will leave his review link down below in the description if you guys want to go and read it, watch it. So it was, it's about 13th century Persia, and the Mongol Empire has taken over, and the Persian rebels are trying to take back their country. So that's as much as I can tell you. There are some magical elements, but I haven't gone to them, and I've read about 100 pages in. So I'm guessing there's less magic and more historical fiction in this. Some of the figures in it are actually historical people, but the actual story is not based on historical people. It is all the characters are mostly fictional, which is kind of like cool if you think about it, and that's why I picked it up. I will talk about Judas Blossom in my August wrap up. And yeah, so thank you for watching my July wrap up, and let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of these books, if you enjoyed them. Do you intend on picking up any of these books? So yeah, thank you, and have a nice day. Bye.